Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Going to be joined by Jason DiRienzo, my podcast co-host, and we are bringing back this series this fall. Week 1 of college football is in the books, and each and every week we are going to do a 2025 NFL Draft rookie stock report. We're going to talk about 8 players, 4 stock up, 4 stock down, players that should be 2025 draft picks, guys that you play Dynasty football, fantasy football, or even redraft. We're going to be going over these players, and these are players that you're going to be drafting in your rookie drafts next year. So these are all 2025 eligible players. Each and every week we're going to do this show, so please hit that subscribe button, help us grow the channel. So if you want to keep track of the 2025 rookies throughout the college football season, this show dropping weekly will be for you. Please hit that subscribe button, help us grow the channel, and thanks for watching. Let's get to the show. All right, Jason, super excited to continue our NFL draft stock. It's really the 2025 rookies, right, that are going to be part of the segment of the show. Okay, so we're going to give you guys, again, 2 stock up players each and 2 stock down players. Now, these guys are obviously still playing in college football, and they are going to be 2025 rookies that we are expecting to declare after some of the performances, maybe not, at least on some of the one guy that I'm going to talk about. So everyone that we talk about in this segment is always going to be, in our eyes, a declaring 2025 rookie. So why don't you kick us off on the first one, Jason? Who do you got for your first stock up rookie for next year?
Yeah, this one should be still in everybody's minds based on the performance he had against USC. But Kyron Lacy, the LSU wide receiver, looks to be that next guy. And I was definitely impressed with what I saw from him. Just his separation ability, that catch that he had in the back end zone by the pylon, just grabbed it outside of his frame above his head, did that little tiptoe and got the ball in. I mean, the awareness, the concentration ability, just seems to really understand the nuance of the receiver position, which is great to see. And I love the chemistry he already has with Nussmeier. I think everything is trending in a good direction for him. And it's not all said and done when it comes to these receivers and how they're going to be ranked come NFL draft time. Kyron Lacy could definitely be up there. So Kyron Lacy is definitely a stock up.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him. You can see
Yeah,
the way he
I
reacts
completely agree. Yeah.
after, he's kind of got that George Pickens confidence, when he catches the ball. My first stock up player I want to talk about is Cam Ward, Miami quarterback. He is the talk of the town after that performance against Florida. He had 35 attempts, 26 completions, completion percentage 74.3. Yards per attempt 11, 3 TDs and 1 pick. And like you mentioned earlier in the show, Jason, on the podcast, was his ability to rebound after that bad interception. Right? He
Yeah,
seemed to really
that was
settle in,
impressive.
and he showed really everything. He's a 5-year player, and everything that you want an ascending quarterback coming in, playing in against an SEC Florida team. But really, I think his ability to maneuver in the pocket was really good. His pocket awareness was really good. The ability, obviously, to make plays off script. The one play where he was rolling to the left, like I mentioned earlier, and he threw kind of off balance across the grain to the touchdown pass. Everybody on Twitter was going nuts, and showing that off script ability is something that everybody gets excited about. Us fantasy players as well as the NFL scouts. As he threw like different arm angles when he was in tough situations, threw the ball, short really well, vertical really well, just a really good overall performance. And I think the QB class overall in the 2025 draft class could be getting, it was a lot of excitement coming out of week 1 with the Miller Mosses and the Cam Wards and Drew Aller playing well and everything. So stock up for Cam Ward because, we love to rise these quarterbacks up throughout their season. And I think the 5th year is going to do him good. I think he's just going to get that one more year of experience to develop his game. So I think he's a player on the rise.
Yeah, I can't disagree. And in terms of fantasy, I mean, he's the perfect kind of fantasy quarterback. So it'd be great to see him continue getting better and better in that Miami offense. I am going to go to a receiver that, if you looked at the stat line, it wouldn't be that impressive. 6 for 36. Well, why are you talking about him, Jason? And it's not the 3 touchdowns either. Watching the game, Deion Burks, the Oklahoma receiver, I just saw exactly what I want to see from receiver. I love the acceleration off the line of
Mhm.
scrimmage. I love the release moves that he used in space because he had off coverage. But you see the manipulation. He understands the art of using jab steps with perfect timing in order to evade and elude against the defender that's in front of him. So he's got that natural separation ability, and I love the hands. So even though the A dot's not there and the stat line's not there, and even the 3 touchdowns are great, I saw an NFL type receiver with the way that he was able to separate, manipulate, and get off the line of scrimmage. So I think Deion Burks is going to have a phenomenal season. He's going to help Jackson Arnold a lot. I take it back that I had Jackson Arnold as my guy that could possibly bust. He looked good. I understand the competition level. I was concerned about that offensive line. Maybe the offensive line is more toward Gavin Sawchuk than it was toward Jackson Arnold. But Deion Burks is absolutely going to help Arnold have a great year. And Burks looks like an NFL receiver to me.
You forgot his best trait. He's
Which,
physical.
oh, he's physical.
Yeah,
You're
man.
right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
He is a
Yep.
jacked up
Talk
dude,
about the
man.
dog. Yeah.
Talk about the dog. So I'm going to talk about another dog. I'm going to go to the Texas wide receiver, and I'm going to talk about Isaiah Bond. We all saw the great touchdown that he had, the inside
Hmm.
move, and went to the pylon and readjusted his helmet and still caught the ball. But man, this guy is a space creator, and
Yes, he is.
he just reminds me of a Jalen Waddle type, right? He is
Hmm.
physical. You can tell, and this is like my kind of receiver. He's tough, but he's a space creator. I mean, he's got
Yes,
the
he is.
feet. And to me, that is a high value bar for me, a guy that can just shake and wiggle and get guys off their butt when they're down there running routes. He had 5 catches for 61 yards and 1 TD. But I'm expecting a big season at Texas. I think this is just the beginning, but he's going to be moving up my rookie ranks, I think, a little bit because he's got that. He was a little undersized as far as height, but he's built well. And he's just an explosive player, and he just fits to what I think the NFL is looking for in receivers now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I put a tweet out there. I think he's a first round talent all day long based on what I look
Mhm.
for at the position and what he does. I think the only thing that might hurt him is Jonte Cook. Looks like he might be taking targets away, but Isaiah Bond's skill set is absolutely translatable to the NFL, and he's a first round talent to me all day long.
Mhm.
Where are we at?
All right, so those are our
Uh,
4 stock ups,
those
right?
are four.
Those
Yep.
4 stock ups. All right, so now we're going to talk about guys that didn't have a great week 1 that maybe, something we're going to want to keep an eye on. Who you got?
Yeah, and this is going to be a guy that I watch very closely, and that's Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame. And when I say stock down, it's not the stock down because of what he did in that game. It's the stock down because of how his skill set as a passer is going to translate to the
Mhm.
next level. Still have question marks about that. I think in terms of fantasy, using his legs and everything, it's like he's an exciting prospect. But how NFL teams are going to view him as a natural passer that can really be accurate at all levels. I'm not sure about that based on what I saw, from this film and his film at Duke. So hopefully that progresses and he continues to develop as a passer. But for me right now, I think it's a stock down based on the still a question mark of how well of an accurate passer he's going to be in the future.
Yeah, until we see a 300-yard, 3 TD game where he's slinging the rock all over the field, I don't
Yeah,
disagree
against
with
good
you at all.
competition.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. I mean, he looked uncomfortable,
he did.
is the word.
Yep.
I just very skittish back there, especially in the first half. So we'll have to see him settle in. So my first stock down player is also a quarterback, and I'm going to go with Connor Wegman. I mean, this guy has been really
Mm.
overhyped for a long time. I mean, he's played 8 games, all right, in college, and yet people were projecting him to be a first round potential quarterback this year. And I think the way we had talked about earlier with Cam Ward and it being his 5th season, Connor Wegman is not going to the draft next year. I mean, I think I'm changing him in my dashboard to a 2026 prospect. So I don't think even if he kind of rebounds, and I think he's going to have a hard time rebounding. I mean, he has no weapons at
Me
all in
too.
the passing game,
No, nothing.
like you talked
Nothing.
about, and he needs experience. I mean, his stats were really really bad. I mean, he had 30 attempts, 12 completions out of 30 attempts. That's less than 50% for 100 yards and 2 interceptions. So really, really struggled. And I don't see any catalyst that's going to make him get better throughout the season. He needs time, consistency, and he's a 2026 NFL prospect. So this will be the last time I'll be bringing him up in our stock report. But he's a stock down. I mean, he's not ready to, I think, be talked about as an NFL prospect until we see a long consistency of him staying healthy, and kind of like what we said about Riley Leonard, throwing good consistent games up one after the other.
Yeah, yeah, I can't disagree with anything that you said. My next guy is going to be a bit polarizing, and some people are going to prick their ears up like are you crazy, but I'm going to go with Evan Stewart, and it's the way I look at it right now. Evan Stewart is one of those guys that absolutely should be demanding 8 to 12 targets a game. I mean, he is that good. And it just I'm not sure how it's all gonna work with the way that the target share is gonna go around and maximizing his potential and development in this Oregon offense. I mean, Tez Johnson looks like he is going to be a very big primary weapon. Terrence Ferguson, the tight end, looks like he's going to be part of that as well. Maybe it's the fact that Jurian Dickey didn't get anything, and then maybe that's a saving grace that some of these guys that I expected to come on did not. So there's definitely going to be opportunity. I'm sure Evan Stewart's going to have a 150-yard, 2-touchdown game at some point, but the usage out the gate is definitely concerning. 3 receptions for 15 yards, 5 targets. He deserves a lot more than that. And it's not like Oregon was playing a high quality caliber, contender. So I really want to see more from Evan Stewart. I want to see Oregon use him a little bit more. And really, it's also the fact that some of the receivers like Kyron Lacy, who performed really well, are just going to be moving up, and Evan Stewart's just going to kind of stand still at the moment. And that affects him as well. So Evan Stewart is my stock down.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand. It's going to really come down, I think, to Dylan Gabriel too, getting him the ball. I mean,
Sure.
I know Tez Johnson had a great week there, but I agree with you. I think Evan Stewart will have his days because we really liked him in our offseason,
Oh God, he's
summer
phenomenal.
scouting.
Yeah.
He's really a twitchy player. So my second stock down
Yep.
player to kind of round out the show here is going to be Donovan Edwards. Had a really not a very good day. 11 carries, 27 yards, 2.5 yards per average, 0 reception this game. And I think Michigan's offense
Oh,
is, John Harbaugh bailed
doomed
at the right
right now.
time. I mean, it is outside of Colston Loveland. I'm not sure there really is any kind of fantasy NFL kind of
No.
prospects on that team right now. I think we're not going to see a lot of Michigan, players for a little bit of time. But Donovan Edwards, I mean, you and I have been very critical of him for the last couple of years, doing Devy shows
Mhm.
and doing film breakdowns. And, the spring game, he looked a little good. I mean, he came out, he looked like a little thicker,
Yep.
but obviously, they lost a lot of offensive linemen. I don't think there's going to do much. He's going to have his big breakaway plays every once in a while that's going to kind of keep him to the surface. But I just don't see an NFL running back in the 2025 NFL draft. And I haven't for 2 years. And I just don't see this season that's going to catapult him into being nothing but a late day round 3 guy.
Yeah, our last podcast, I had him as a bust this season, and it was due to the fact that they lost all 5 offensive starters on
Mm-hmm.
the O-line, and he needs an offensive line to really help him out. He's that type of receiver. So this, unfortunately, does not surprise me. I think you're right, man. Michigan's offense just looks clueless, and that is not good. I,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. Alex Orji is not the guy. I can't remember who played in place of him, but they just had no answers, and there's no receiver that really looks like it's going to step up. So it's going to be a tough season for Michigan.
Yeah, and Texas is going to play Michigan this week, and if you can believe it, the spread is only 6. Texas is winning by 6. I'm smashing that.
Wow.
I'm smashing
Oh my
Texas for
God. Yeah.
some cash. I think they're going to whoop them by 20. All right, there you guys got
Even
it. That
Michigan's defense didn't look that great. So
I
yeah,
know, I
geez.
know. So you guys got it. There is our 2025 NFL Draft rookie stock report.